Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and you may be a regular of the channel and watch some of these Unreal Engine content demos with a little bit of lusty eyes. If you're using, say, the Godot game engine or the Unity game engine, you want to use these assets, but you're not using Unreal Engine. Well, today's video, I'm going to show you how. So, for example, this month's February free giveaway. The first Tuesday of every month, Unreal Engine assets are given away. They give away generally 5 and a permanently free item. How can I go ahead and use those in, say, Blender, Godot, or Unity? Also, there's a lot more humble bundles going on of note lately for Unreal Engine, such as this one that is currently running. I will link it down below for Unreal Engine military game assets. There's a ton of levels, vehicles, and so on that you can go ahead and use. But what happens if I want to use these in something other than Unreal Engine? Well, this video, we're going to show you how to get assets from Unreal Engine to other platforms. So let's just jump right in. And we're going to start things off with a very easy way to do it. This is one of the levels. This is the checkpoint level. A number of things here. So we got some sandbags going on, some barrels, etc. So let's say I want to take one of these assets out and use it in the Godot game engine. Conveniently enough, I have a Godot project already loaded up and ready to go right here. So how do I get an asset out of here and into Godot? And this is about as simple as it gets. So what I'm going to do is select an asset such as this concrete barrier. I'm going to go to the content drawer. Now, I got to warn you, this only works in 5.1. Earlier than that, you needed a plugin, and I never found the plugin worked that well, so I don't know if they changed the plugin as well, but as of Unreal Engine 5.1, this is now built in. You can actually select the asset this way, by the way, right-click, browse to asset. So this is the guy we want to send out. I'm going to right-click it, and we are going to go to Asset Actions, and then you're going to see here, there is this export option available. And what this has been here for all ages, and it's been FBX files format. The problem with FBX is you don't actually get any of the textures, so you have to recreate all of the materials, and that is a giant pain in the butt. Thankfully, there are now options. So I'm going to go down here and do GL transmission format binary, and we're going to go ahead and select that. We're going to save this directly inside of our Godot project. Go ahead and save it. You have a number of options here. So, for example, I can set the amount to scale it by. So we're scaling it down to 1% of its size, which actually is what we want to do. You can also set how it's going to bake the materials. So yes, it bakes out the diffuse map, the normal map, and so on out to textures. We'll stick with 1K. I'm fine with that. And then you also have it pick out which level of detail mesh to send out. Most game engines have their own automatic LOD system, so that's good. And you can also pick which format to go. Now, do keep in mind, if you are using transparencies in your textures, you're going to want to go with something like PNG as opposed to JPEG. And then once you're good to go, just basically export, and that model is now gone. We switch on over to the Godot game engine, the import automatically happens, and there is our model. Boom, ready to go. So that is pretty much however easy it is. So let's just show you that one more time. Basically, back to Unreal, pick the item that you're interested in, right-click it, say Browse to Assets, right-click that asset, go to the Asset Actions, select Export, pick GLB if you want to actually have the textures all come. The default should be fine. Head on back over to Godot. It should pick it up because this is the file system that we exported to. So let's go. Pretty sure. Oh, still exporting. All right. Don't know why this export's taking a bit longer, but all right, we'll give it a second. All right, there it is done. Head on over here. It automatically imports it, and our barrel is ready to go. So that is hands down the easiest way to get assets out of Unreal Engine 5.1 and into Godot. Now also, let's just say you want to go into Blender. Same deal. GLTF or GLB are probably as good as it gets. There is a default importer. So come on down here. That was in temp. Test 2. We can pick one of those items and drop it in like so. Let's switch over to rendered view. And boom. That's how easy it is to get things out of Unreal Engine and into other tools. Now, the problem here is this is not by any means perfect. Let's say if I want to export this entire scene. Well, you can do that. So if I come here, for example, I can go to the map, and I can demonstrate, and I can do the exact same thing, and I can export out this way as a number of different file formats. So, for example, GLB. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pick a different folder for this one, and we'll spit that out. Now, this one, unfortunately, takes a great deal longer because it's got to actually go through all of the materials here. But the most disappointing part is this just isn't going to work. I'll show you the end result in Blender in a minute when it is done processing. Okay, so the export has happened. We're back in Blender now. The default cube has already been sacrificed off screen, and now let's go and select the project it just generated. So that is C temp demonstration, and we're going to import it. So at first glance, this looks wonderful. Like everything worked out perfectly. The entire contents were imported, and you see some things work just fine. Some things do not. And I really can't figure it out why it fails sometimes and why it doesn't. But you can try and do a scene level export. The more complicated the scene, the more likely this is to fail. Again, if you do this with FBX, however, across the board failure. It's going to absolutely and utterly fail. But this being built into Unreal Engine 5.1 is an absolute game changer. So if you want to get content out, this is how you do it. Now you're going to probably want to get rid of all of the associated crud that came with it. And this actually worked out a whole lot better than what I've been using in the past. Now the other thing here is if you want to get it out, but you want to go to Unreal Engine, or sorry, the Unity game engine, you do have another option here as well. So I'm going to show you a much more advanced situation. Now this would not work, period, with the GLTF export. So this is one of the demo scenes that we saw from this here example. This is this pack right here, which this should still be available for a few more weeks. So if you want to pick this up, you can do so. Again, the link will be down below. So if I want to go ahead and export this out, well, we have another option, and it is this guy right here, Unreal to Unity. Now, Unreal to Unity is a plugin. It is a paid plugin. It's currently half price. It was also in a mega bundle like a month ago, and if it's so impressive, to be honest. I'm going to cover it again if it's ever put on sale. But if you're watching this video literally today, on Tuesday, it is on sale for half price until, sorry about this, tomorrow. So if you want to pick this one up, if you're a Unity developer, this plugin is easily worth it. So once you've integrated it, it actually hooks up into Unreal Engine itself. You just click here. Then what I can say is, okay, prepare this guy for export. And it does whatever it does. It's not sure if it breaks the lighting or not. Then we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to export it out. So what you're going to see here, you can pick the pipeline you want to build it for, the Universal Render Pipeline or the HD Pipeline as examples. So I'm going to do Universal Render Pipeline. We pick where we want it to go. So it's going to create a new project. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop this in temp/Unreal to Unity. And then you got a bunch of other options here, but for the most part, the defaults all work exactly as you wish, and you go ahead and click OK. Now, there is a lot of content in this scene, and it does like a surprisingly quick job of it. Now, this is going to take long enough. I'm going to show it off camera, but as you can see, we're already 10% done. So this is literally about a minute to do a scene of this level of complexity, which is pretty impressive. So I'm going to pause until this is done. All right, so literally about a minute later, the export is complete. This is for ERP. You need to use Unity 2020 1.2 or higher. So that is done. Now we're just going to head on over here to the folder, temp. You're going to find Unreal to Unity like so. It is a new project, so what we need to do is basically just open up Unity like this. Okay, the hub opened on my other monitor, but and then what we're just going to do is basically go ahead. We'll open it manually, the file that it just created. So that was C:/temp. And that was Unreal to Unity, and we'll open that up. So let's pick the version we want to go with. So I'll just open it up with the newest alpha version because I'm going to walk on the wild side. So let's go ahead, open that up, change the version. And now Unity needs to go through and deal with all of this stuff as it's opening up. Continue. So this is going to take just a little bit of time. So I'm going to return as soon as it is done. And ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed a magic trick. Here we are in the Unity engine now, the exact same level, fully imported. There's literally one thing that failed and one thing alone, and I don't know if you can tell it from the fuchsia. Even most impressively, the animated trees are still animated. Everything just brought over, other than this one texture, this curbside texture that you would have to fix by hand, and that is it. Out of thousands of textures and models and stuff, only one little thing failed, as long as we don't look at the skybox, which is a known 5.1 issue. This is just amazing to me, to be honest. So this one, again, here we are in Unity. Here we are back in Unreal Engine. Obviously, your lighting is going to be different, but that's down to you. There is the scene. There is our little animated tree. And back over here, again, scene, animated tree. Absolutely magical. So if you're looking to go workflow from the Unreal Game Engine to the Unity Game Engine, this is an easy buy. If you picked it up in that mega bundle or you get it right now for half price, this is a staggeringly impressive plugin. And one of these things, I'm actually going to, the next time it's in a bundle or it's featured in some way, I'm actually going to do a dedicated video on this plugin. Although you just saw the magic of it. It literally pick an item, export it out, including entire maps, and it does it in just a few minutes. And the coolest thing here is you actually created full prefabs of everything here. So everything that we are working with here is available as a prefab. So you can literally, it's not just one big static bake level. You can literally start dragging these things out. Although you're going to have to find this guy right here, and you're going to find that little texture. That's all you have to fix, is that one little curb texture. And if that is it out of all of this, and it generated all of the prefabs from over there over to here, just absolute magic. So that is a very, very cool plugin. So those are a couple of your options. That one we just saw, that is the exporter for Unreal Engine. Again, if you're watching this on Tuesday or early Wednesday, it is currently half price. So I will link that down below as well. And again, if this comes back up for sale, I'm going to do a dedicated video on it, because that's super impressive to me. I don't know, are you just as impressed? And then on top of that, there are a couple of other options I covered in the past. I'm not going to go through them again, but I will link them. So if you want to know about them, one of them is something called the UE viewer. I did a video on it. It basically allows you to take asset files without actually opening it up and export them out. I haven't gotten textures to ever work well with this tool, and it doesn't do a great job with LODs. But the cool thing here is it does, so again, here I'm having to manually recreate the textures in Blender, but it does enable you to export models, static models from asset files without having to open Blender itself. So UE viewer is definitely one of those things to know about. Also, it is completely free. Getting a little on the dated side, but it's one of those things just need to be aware of. So it was updated in June of 2022. It is designed as a model viewer, but it enables you to export them out. Again, you're not going to get the material types working great, so some materials are not working quite well. And some animations don't work perfectly, but it is a nice little Swiss Army tool, so one to be aware of. And another really powerful feature out there, but it's an incredible pain in the butt to set up, is something called Omniverse. Now, NVIDIA Omniverse is using something called the USD, or Universal Scene Description format from Pixar. That is a new interchange format, and I actually did a video of it. You can see actually a demo. So here is Unreal Engine 4.x, one of the free content downloads. You can grab something called the City of Brass. And here I grabbed it in Unreal Engine. I used the Omniverse connector, and then we export that out to the Omniverse Create tool, which is available over here. So it does take a little bit of time to do so, but here is the exact same level in Omniverse Create. And then anything that has and then we get an add splits in. Anything that has a USD connector can then use that level. So those are your various different options. If you want to use the monthly free content, or like this currently ongoing Humble Bundle, you've got a couple of really great options out there. If you're using the Unreal Engine itself, if you have it installed, one of the options you really have is to pick the asset you want to export. Once again, right-click it, go to Browse to Asset, find that asset or an asset, and then you're going to do a asset action, export. And again, FBX, you are not going to get any of the textures whatsoever, but if you do pick GLTF or GLB, the binary version of it, that's probably the easiest one to go with, by the way. You should be able to use it in whichever game engine you wish, like we saw here. We took this level, we took parts of it over here, we got the entirety of it in Blender with a couple of flaws in the export, and then we also got it into the Godot game engine. So it's really easy to get the assets out of Unreal Engine, and then the real magical one, in my opinion, is this plugin. So we took this level right here, and we got it into the Unity game engine with like a click. This is just magic to me. So again, I will have links to all of these things down below, but there are multiple different ways to get stuff from Unreal Engine out to various different game engines and tools. In terms of the legality, generally most of this content, especially stuff that you get off of Humble, totally fine to do it. The stuff that Unreal Engine gives away for free, or Epic Games gives away for free, it's going to come down to the type of asset that it was. So if it was provided by them directly, generally no, you're not allowed. If it's from the marketplace, generally yes, you are allowed. But I am not your lawyer, and take that with a grain of salt. But super cool stuff, and that is how you can get assets from Unreal Engine to a variety of other game engines and tools. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.